Maple Systems thanks you for joining us. Please make sure to have Easy Builder Pro version 6.05.02 or later. In this tutorial, we'll show you how to transfer recipes to continuous addresses and individual addresses as well. We will transfer the recipe to the PLC, so in Codesys create three tags, U, INTD, Word, and Real. In FATEC, let's use D100. Transfer recipe to continuous addresses. In EB Pro project, add Codesys and FATEC driver and system parameters, then Device tab. Click Data History and select Recipe Database. Add new recipe in Recipe List and add 4 items. The project will transfer the recipe to Codesys and FATEC later. Define the name as PLC tag. The data type of each is 16-bit unsigned, 16-bit unsigned, 32-bit unsigned, and 32-bit float. Import the recipe data from the external file by clicking Import. Let's check the recipe data we just imported in the Data tab. Go to Easy Access 2.0 page. In this section, we will transfer recipe data with the addresses starting from LW0. Create a recipe view to view the recipe items and data. 4 recipe items to be viewed are selected. Create a few numeric objects with recipe addresses. Select Recipe for Register and select the recipe item for each numeric object. Let's quickly do the same for the other 3 recipe items. Create a text object for easier recognition. Since we are transferring recipe data with addresses starting from LW0, create a few objects with LW addresses. The address order to be transferred needs to match the order and the format of recipe items. So LW0 is mapped to the first item LW, 1 is mapped to the second item, and so on. LW2 is mapped to the third item, which is 32-bit unsigned. Data format in Format tab needs to be adjusted. LW4 is mapped to the fourth item, which is a 32-bit float. Please select 32-bit float for data format and set the right of decimal points. Then create a numeric object with recipe command address for entering commands. Run offline simulation and see how it works. Enter 5 into recipe command to transfer the values from recipe addresses to LW addresses. Select a recipe record to be transferred later. Enter a new value to LW. Enter 6 into recipe command to transfer the values from LW to recipe. You can see that the values in recipe view are changed. Transfer recipe to individual addresses. In Recipe Database, then Transfer tab, select Transfer to individual addresses. In Address column, select the PLC address to be mapped with each recipe item. Let's skip the same steps quickly. In Numeric Objects, change the addresses to the PLC's addresses. Download the project into the HMI to see how it works. We can check the FATEC Codesys values in the programming software. Enter 6 into recipe command to transfer the values from devices to recipe. You can see that the values in recipe view are changed. Enter 5 into recipe command to transfer values from recipe addresses to devices addresses. You can now use VNC to view HMI screen. Thank you for watching.